There is a business in Ethiopia nobody talks about. It's not tech, not oil, not coffee, not gold. It's diapers. Handmade cloth diapers. Sewn on simple machines. Cut by hand. Washed by hand. Folded by hand. And somehow, in the middle of all that, there is a business model that makes more sense than half the startup ideas being pitched in glass offices right now. Because the people making real money are not who you think. It is not the giant diaper companies. It is not the importers. It is not some foreign brand shipping boxes into Africa and charging premium prices. It is women with sewing machines, small workshops, neighborhood delivery routes, buckets of clean diapers, and a subscription model so simple it almost sounds too boring to be powerful. Parents pay every week. They get clean diapers delivered. The dirty ones get picked up, washed, sanitized, reused, then rented again and again and again. The same diaper can make money 20 times, sometimes more. That is the part nobody tells you. The diaper is not the business. The system is the business. And in Ethiopia, that system might be one of the most overlooked opportunities in the entire baby care market. Because Ethiopia has a baby problem. Not a bad problem. A big problem. A massive one. Millions of babies are born there every year. Roughly 4 million new babies every single year. That is not a market. That is a wave. Every day, thousands of new parents wake up and face the same question. How do we take care of this baby? How do we feed them? How do we carry them? How do we keep them clean? And then comes the question nobody romanticizes: diapers. Because babies do not wait. They do not care about income levels. They do not care about currency. They do not care if supply chains are broken. They just need changing. Again and again and again. Now in a rich country, this is solved by walking into a store and buying a giant pack of disposable diapers. Use one, throw it away. Use another, throw it away. Easy. Expensive. Wasteful. But easy. In Ethiopia, that equation breaks. Disposable diapers are imported or made with imported materials. That means prices move with fuel costs, shipping costs, currency pressure, taxes, retail markups. A pack of disposable diapers can become a luxury item, not because parents do not want convenience. They do. Every parent wants convenience. But convenience has a price. And in many households, a month of disposable diapers can cost more than the family can realistically afford. Think about that. A product that a baby needs every day, multiple times a day, priced like a luxury. That is not a small gap. That is a business opening. And that is where cloth diapers come in. Not the old cloth rags people imagine, not random pieces of fabric tied around a baby. Modern cloth diapers. Handmade. Layered. Absorbent. Reusable. Adjustable. Designed to be washed and used again. They can be sewn locally, by local women, with local labor. In small workshops. No giant factory needed. No billion-dollar supply chain. No glossy packaging. Just fabric. Thread. Snaps. Elastic. A pattern. And a sewing machine. That is the first secret. The product looks small, but the demand is endless. One woman with a sewing machine can make 20 to 30 diapers a day, not in theory, in real life. Cut the fabric, sew the layers, attach the closures, check the stitching, stack them, sell them. Each diaper may only create a small profit. A few coins here, a few more there. Nothing dramatic. Nothing that makes investors clap in a conference room. But diapers are not bought once. Babies need many of them. Families need them every day. Neighborhoods need them every week. Cities need them every hour. And Ethiopia does not have a shortage of babies. It has one of the fastest growing populations in Africa. So the math changes. A small workshop making 200 diapers a week is not just making baby products. It is building inventory for a recurring use business. A workshop with 3 or 4 women can supply a neighborhood. A larger one can supply clinics, daycare centers, mothers groups, local shops. And once people trust the product, the workshop becomes more than a place that sews diapers. It becomes part of the community. That matters, because when it comes to babies, trust sells. A mother is not just buying fabric. She is buying peace. She is buying hygiene. She is buying relief from a daily problem that never ends. And if the diaper works, she tells another mother, then another, then another. That is how the business spreads. Not through ads, through babies, through mothers, through neighbors, through the quiet networks that move faster than any marketing agency. But here is where the story gets interesting. Selling cloth diapers is good. Renting them is better. That sounds strange at first. Who rents diapers? But once you understand the economics, it makes almost too much sense. A family might not be able to buy a full set of cloth diapers up front. Even if cloth diapers are cheaper over time, the first payment can still be hard, because saving money later does not help if you do not have cash today. That is the trap. Poor families often pay more because they cannot afford the cheaper long-term option. They buy small amounts, 1 pack at a time, 1 day at a time. The expensive way, the rental model, breaks that. Instead of asking parents to buy a full set, the workshop offers a weekly subscription. Parents pay a small weekly fee. In return, they get clean cloth diapers delivered to their home. The dirty diapers are collected. The workshop washes them, sanitizes them, dries them, folds them, sends them back out. Now the family does not need to own the diapers. They just need access to them. That one shift changes everything. The diaper stops being a product. It becomes a service. And services make money over and over. A single handmade cloth diaper might cost money to produce once. But if it is rented 20 times, 30 times, 50 times, the economics become powerful. The first few rentals pay back the cost of making it. After that, every cycle becomes margin. Yes, there are washing costs. Soap, water, labor, delivery, sanitizing, replacement. The asset keeps working. It keeps generating income. It is like a tiny hotel room made of cotton, used by one customer, cleaned, then used by another, again and again. That is the hidden genius. The diaper is inventory. The washing system is operations. The subscription is cash flow. And the delivery route is the moat. Because once a workshop is already visiting mothers every week, picking up and dropping off diapers, it owns the relationship. It knows who just had a baby. It knows who is struggling. It knows who needs more diapers, who needs baby clothes, who needs wipes, who needs soap, who needs training, who needs help. That is not just a customer list. That is a local baby care network, built one household at a time. And the best part, the model fits the market. In Silicon Valley, people build apps to solve tiny inconveniences for people who already have everything. In Ethiopia, a diaper subscription solves a real problem for families who feel the cost every day. Disposable diapers are convenient, but expensive. Traditional cloth is cheaper, but time-consuming and messy. The subscription model sits right in the middle, cheaper than disposables, cleaner than improvised cloth, less stressful than washing everything at home, and much more local. The money stays inside the community. The workers are local. The production is local. The service is local. The trust is local. That is why the idea is so powerful. It does not need to beat Pampers in New York. It needs to beat disposable economics in Addis Ababa, or Hawassa, or Bahir Dar, or Dire Dawa, or any growing Ethiopian city where young families are looking for affordable solutions. And this is where Wolfie comes into the story. Wolfaby is the channel behind this business idea. But it is not just about making diapers. That would be too small. The bigger play is teaching other people how to build the same business. How to sew the diapers. How to choose fabric. How to set prices. How to run pickup and delivery. How to clean and sanitize safely. How to find customers. How to train women. How to build a microfranchise. That is the second secret. The business is not just diapers. It is a repeatable model. A small workshop can be copied. A training program can be copied. A neighborhood route can be copied. A cleaning process can be copied. A pricing plan can be copied. That is how a tiny idea becomes a network. One woman learns, then starts making diapers, then trains 2 more. Then one neighborhood becomes 3. Then one city becomes 5. Nobody needs to raise $50 million. Nobody needs a headquarters with beanbags. Nobody needs to disrupt anything. They just need a working pattern, a machine, a hygiene system, a weekly payment model, and customers with babies. That is the beauty of micro-franchising. It takes a small profitable unit and makes it replicable. Not huge, not glamorous, not complicated, just repeatable. Think of one workshop. 3 sewing machines. A few trained women. A washing station. A drying area. A delivery person. Maybe a motorbike. Maybe just walking routes at first. The workshop signs up 50 families. Each family pays weekly. The workshop knows exactly how many diapers are needed. How many are out? How many are dirty? How many are clean? How many must be repaired? How many must be replaced? Cash comes in every week. Not maybe. Not someday. Every week. That matters, because small businesses do not die from a lack of big ideas. They die from broken cash flow. They die waiting for customers to come back. They die when inventory sits on shelves. A diaper rental model does not wait for someone to maybe buy another pack. The baby creates the demand, the subscription captures it, and the route maintains it. Every week, the business has a reason to see the customer again. That is rare. Most small shops fight for attention. This one gets invited back because the problem keeps happening. The baby keeps needing diapers. That is recurring revenue in its rawest form. No dashboard needed. No fancy software. Just a notebook can track it. Family name. Number of diapers. Payment status. Pickup day. Delivery day. That is it. Simple businesses scare people because they look too obvious. But obvious things are often where the money is. Bread. Water. Transport. Cleaning. Childcare. Waste removal. Basic needs. They are not sexy, but they are constant. Diapers belong in that category. They are not optional. They are not seasonal. They are not a trend. If there is a baby, there is demand. And when a country has millions of babies every year, there is a mountain of demand. The surprising part is that the richest opportunity may not be at the top of the market. Not premium baby boutiques. Not imported luxury diapers. Not fancy packaging. The real opportunity may be at the bottom and middle. The families priced out of disposables. The mothers who need clean solutions. The neighborhoods where one trusted workshop can become essential. That is counterintuitive. Most businesses chase the customer with more money. This one wins by serving the customer who needs a better price. And because the product is reused, lower price does not automatically mean lower profit. That is the magic. A disposable diaper makes money once. Then it becomes trash. A cloth diaper can make money again and again. A disposable brand needs constant manufacturing and constant distribution. A rental workshop needs good maintenance and high utilization. Different game, different math. In the disposable model, the customer must keep buying new. In the subscription model, the business keeps earning from the same asset. That is why this is bigger than diapers. It is asset reuse. It is local production. It is recurring revenue. It is circular economy, but without the buzzwords. Nobody needs to say circular economy to a mother who just wants clean diapers. She does not care about the pitch. She cares that it works. She cares that it is affordable. She cares that her baby is dry. She cares that the delivery comes on time. That is the real test, not a slide deck. A mother deciding to pay again next week. And if she does, the business lives. If enough mothers do, it grows. Now imagine the scale. Ethiopia has millions of births every year. Even a tiny slice of that market is enormous. Not every family will use cloth diapers. Not every city will support rental delivery right away. Not every workshop will run well. But the market is so large that the business does not need everyone. It just needs neighborhoods, then clusters, then districts, then cities. Each micro-franchise can serve its own area. That keeps delivery efficient. It keeps relationships personal. It keeps jobs local. And it avoids the trap of trying to centralize everything too soon. Because a diaper service is physical. It lives in the real world. Roads matter. Water matters. Drying space matters. Trust matters. A local operator understands those things better than a distant office. That is why micro-franchising fits. The central brand can train, set standards, supply patterns, teach pricing, share washing protocols, help with marketing. Maybe provide starter kits, but the local operator does the work. They know the families. They know the language. They know the streets. They know which day is best for pickup. They know which households need flexible payments. That local knowledge is not small. It is the edge. And for women, this model can be even more powerful because the work can start with one sewing machine. At home or in a shared workshop, the skills are learnable. The investment is not impossible. And the customer base is close. A woman can start by selling handmade diapers, then add washing, then add rental, then train others, then manage routes. What begins as a sewing income can become a service business, then a franchise, then a local brand. That is how wealth can grow in places investors overlook, not through one giant company taking over everything, but through many small operators owning their piece of a practical market. There is another hidden advantage: waste. Disposable diapers create a serious waste problem. They do not just disappear, they pile up. In cities where waste systems are already under pressure, that matters. Cloth diapers reduce that burden. Not perfectly. Washing uses water. Sanitizing takes care. Operations must be done right. But compared to mountains of disposable diapers, the reuse model has a strong case. For parents, the first reason may be price. For cities, the reason may become waste. For communities, the reason may be jobs. For entrepreneurs, the reason is profit. A rare business can touch all four. Affordable for families. Better for waste. Jobs for women. Recurring revenue for operators. That is why this story matters, because it breaks the way we normally think about business. We are trained to look for big markets that sound modern. Artificial intelligence, fintech, crypto, electric vehicles, SaaS. Everything has to sound advanced. Everything has to scale through code. Everything has to impress people who spend all day talking about disruption. But some of the best businesses are hiding in plain sight. They are not advanced. They are necessary. They do not need to create demand. The demand already exists. They just need to serve it better. A baby is born. A family needs diapers. That is the beginning of the business, not an ad campaign, not a viral launch. A baby. And then another. And then another. 4 million times a year. That is the part that should make entrepreneurs stop and think. Because the market is not waiting for someone to invent a new need. It is waiting for someone to solve an old one in a smarter way. Handmade cloth diapers do that. The subscription model makes it easier to afford. The rental model makes each diaper more profitable. The washing system makes it convenient. The microfranchise model makes it scalable. It is low-tech, but not dumb. Simple, but not small. Old-fashioned, but weirdly modern. Because what is a subscription business? It is paying regularly for access instead of ownership. That is Netflix. That is Spotify. That is software. That is cloud computing. And in Ethiopia, it can also be diapers. Same concept. Different world. Different customer. Much more urgent problem. This is what makes the story so counterintuitive. The fancy part is not the product. The fancy part is the business model. A cloth diaper by itself is just a cloth diaper. A cloth diaper inside a subscription route becomes a cash flow machine. A sewing workshop by itself is a small manufacturer. A sewing workshop with training and micro-franchises becomes a platform. A mother buying one diaper is a sale. A mother paying weekly is a relationship. That is the shift. Product to service. Sale to subscription. Workshop to network. Diaper to asset. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The same thinking could apply to other products. Baby clothes. School uniforms. Reusable pads. Household linens. Anything that is needed often, hard to afford up front, and can be reused safely. But diapers are special because the need is immediate. Daily. Non-negotiable. Parents cannot postpone it. They cannot say, maybe next month. The baby decides. And that is why the business has power. It sits next to a need that never stops. Of course, it is not easy. No real business is. Washing must be safe. Sanitation must be trusted. Delivery must be reliable. Pricing must be right. Families must be educated. Some people may reject cloth diapers at first. Some may think disposable means modern. Some may worry about hygiene. That means the business has to prove itself. Clean diapers. On time. Every time. No excuses. Trust will not come from slogans. It will come from consistency. But if a workshop can deliver that, the loyalty can be deep. Because solving a parent's daily stress earns more than a transaction. It earns dependence. And dependence, when served ethically, is one of the strongest foundations for a business. That is why Wolfie's teaching angle matters. A lot of people can sew something. Fewer people can build a system. The training is what turns effort into a model. It shows people how to avoid mistakes, how to price the weekly plan, how to calculate diaper cycles, how to manage pickup routes, how to repair inventory, how to keep hygiene standards, how to explain the offer to parents, how to train new franchise owners. That knowledge is valuable, maybe more valuable than the diapers themselves, because once the model is clear, other people can run it. And once other people can run it, the idea can spread, not as charity, as business. That distinction matters. This is not a pity story. It is not about poor families needing help from outsiders. It is about a market with real demand, real customers, real economics, real operators, real profit. The opportunity exists because the current solution is too expensive for the market. That is a classic business opening. Serve people better at a price they can pay, using a model competitors cannot easily copy. Big disposable diaper companies are built to sell units. Factories? Packaging. Distribution. Retail shelves. Ad campaigns. They want volume through consumption. Use it once. Throw it away. Buy again. A local cloth diaper subscription does something else. It turns reuse into revenue. That is hard for disposable companies to fight without changing who they are. And that is where small players can win, not by being bigger, by being better suited to the local reality. That is the lesson. The best business model is not always the most advanced one. It is the one that fits. Fits the income. Fits the infrastructure. Fits the culture. Fits the customer's daily life. In Ethiopia, a handmade cloth diaper business fits better than it sounds. And the rental model fits even better because it respects the cash flow of families. It creates recurring income for workshops. It multiplies profit from the same product. It gives women a path into entrepreneurship. It can expand through microfranchises. And it solves a problem that repeats every single day. That is why a diaper can be more interesting than an app. An app has to fight for attention. A diaper does not. An app has to convince you to open it. A diaper is needed whether anyone markets it or not. An app can be deleted. A baby still needs changing. That is the brutal simplicity. And maybe that is why nobody talks about it. Because it is too ordinary, too domestic, too humble, too close to women's work, too far from the spotlight. But business does not care what looks cool. Business cares about demand, margins, repeat usage, distribution, trust, cash flow. This diaper model has all of them. Not perfectly, not magically, but clearly. And sometimes clear beats clever. A sewing machine, a trained woman, a stack of cloth, a neighborhood of babies, a weekly fee, a washing station, a delivery route. That is the whole machine. Not shiny, not futuristic, but profitable. And if you can copy that machine across neighborhoods, then cities, then regions, something strange happens. The little business stops looking little. It becomes infrastructure, baby care infrastructure, local manufacturing infrastructure, women's income infrastructure, subscription infrastructure, all built around the most unglamorous product imaginable, a diaper. That is the surprising truth. The money is not always where the world is looking. Sometimes it is hidden in the daily problems nobody wants to discuss. Sometimes it is in the products people only notice when they run out. Sometimes the best business is not the one that changes the world with a breakthrough. It is the one that makes life cheaper, cleaner, and easier for millions of people. 1 week at a time, one household at a time, one diaper at a time. We think business has to be complicated. Algorithm, venture capital, global supply chains, pitch decks, accelerators, growth hacks. But in the right market, a sewing machine and a subscription model can beat every Silicon Valley pitch deck. Because real demand is not theoretical. A baby needs a diaper. Today. Tomorrow. The day after that. And if you can solve that problem affordably, reliably, and locally, you do not need to sound innovative. You are innovative. The next billion-dollar business might not be an app. It might be a diaper.